Joe Walters was such a cool setup out there north of town where you could go and launch them off the barrels and stuff, because that in itself was a fireworks show. Because you're watching not just your own, but the 40, 50 other families around you that are launching their stuff.
I didn't get a lot of fireworks show out of it. I got a lot of vibes like I was in the Civil War. Because like
there's a lot of smoke for sure.
And you're like across, there's another line across from you,
right?
Like 100 yards away.
There's a decent amount of dodging you have to do when somebody messes up a firework.
Here we go. Hey, hold my beer.
And now...
Well, I've been killing oatmeal cream pie for breakfast before Saban made it cool.
All right, y'all. Bobby is bringing the first one today. It's oatmeal cream pies. They are breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, afternoon
Shit
snack,
for a while.
Whatever
you couldn't
want.
find them for a while because Nick Saban blew them up.
What?
Nick Saban made like this like he was getting interviewed about what he has for breakfast every morning, and he says that like he has 2 oatmeal cream pies every day. I've been doing that before it was like ever said.
Bobby is an OG oatmeal cream pie breakfast eater. Okay. Yeah.
But it's got to be the like
he was
the
doing
regular size ones. Cool. The regular size ones.
Hang on.
Like the bigger ones, they don't taste as good, and the consistency is not as. Like I said, the fewer that
Bobby,
are made, like the mini.
Starting this show with a very controversial statement, sir.
I'm telling you. Now, I will take this back. The one that I will kind of give credit to, like not being the regular size, the double decker, bro.
Yeah, the double decker is amazing. But how do you?
The double decker comes by itself. I'm saying the ones that are packaged in the boxes, the regular size where it's at.
No.
Regular size where it's at. Yeah.
No.
They're softer.
For those of you out there that are like better. Me, you have a reasonable mind. You understand that with oatmeal cream pies, bigger is better. The bigger ones are better. Yes, like it's okay. Know that somebody here understands your plight and your feelings. Bobby is some sort of weirdo that wants the smaller ones.
Quality over quantity.
Oh, that's not quality. That's just smaller quantity.
They taste better.
They don't. They taste the same. There's just more goodness.
No, the bigger ones from me are drier. The bigger ones from me are drier.
Drier. This conversation is dry.
Check this out.
Let me tell you that.
Check this out. You go to the store the next time you go shopping, get a box of the big ones and get a box of the small ones, and tell me that there's not a difference. I wouldn't
waste the money on the small ones.
You're crazy.
What a poor investment of your money.
Just to prove me wrong, I bet you would.
You're right, I would. But I'd taste test it, and then I'd be like, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
But if you do it live on here, you're going to be like, okay, I think you're right, Bobby. Because when I open up a small one, they're moister. When I open up a bigger one, there's no moisture to it whatsoever. Do it.
No.
Prove me wrong.
I would prefer not. I'd also prefer not to hear you say moister on this podcast.
Moist.
Ever again.
Well, that might be the name of it, moister.
Oh, please don't. Oh, man. So,
I thought I got a text from you.
Oatmeal cream pies, that's the highlight of this week for the Chubby Buddy podcast as far as what we're snacking on. Oatmeal cream pies.
Well, that was breakfast. That wasn't even what I'm snacking on. That was my breakfast.
Okay, so Bobby says that's breakfast. So,
and yes, it's a breakfast.
The big debate, though, is oatmeal cream pie better as a smaller or a larger pie?
100%. Yeah, leave your comments below.
Man, way to start it out with a controversial one, Bobby. Just hitting us off running.
Well, this episode, what was? Oh no, that was last week. That was my bad. That last week it was our first one in a while.
Yeah,
just because we had so much stuff going on.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's been nuts around here. I'm working, and have we even talked about it? We talked about it on the last podcast. The house that the buyers backed out.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're still showing the house. We still, we've still got people checking it out. Had a couple of people ask us more information about it, so we've passed it on to them. They're passing it on to family members that are interested. So, no buyers yet, but we've showed it a couple times and just continuing to trust that God's providing. I started working at Pop's Smoke Shack. I think I told you that in the last one.
Yep.
And he loves me. It's going great already. I'm pretty much doing helping him from at the beginning of the day, and then basically once they start, I kind of get to go home, so I don't even have to do any like it's just like a routine for me. It's kind of nice.
So you like pretty much prep for the day of.
Yep. I prep the day of, so I
I
pull all the
would
meats out
rather
of the
do that than
smokers,
work with
prep new
customers.
stuff. It's nice, dude. Well, because here's the thing: like once they get into the day, it's just filling orders and filling in things that they run out of. Like what I get to do in the mornings, prepping everything. I get to smell everything. I get to, I'm rubbing up like, I cook the ribs real early in the morning. So like I get there, first thing I do is I pull the pork butts out, put those in a bowl, cover them, put them in the fridge, and then prep some ribs, throw those into the smoker, and get those going by 8 a.m. So those will smoke until 11:30, and like will come out fresh and just with the perfect bark. Beautiful. But
Do you guys
those are
wrap them?
smoked. Yeah, we do. Oh man, let me tell you, the system that he
Wrapping makes a
uses keeps
difference.
them so fresh. All we do, I'm telling you, man. So we cook them fresh. We pull them fresh out of the smoker in a pan. We'll bring them to the back. We will lay out plastic wrap, and then we will just throw down the rib, wrap it once, keep it sealed, put it in the pan, and then just keep it in the warmer. And so
Oh,
what
you
it
keep it
does
in
is it
plastic
keeps.
wrap.
We do, and what that does is it holds all of that moisture in there, so your meat never
Right.
loses any of its tenderness, never loses any of its flavor. The bark that he gets on there is really crispy, so you don't lose any of that crispiness by wrapping it. But what you do is he can keep that in the warmer, and that'll stay fresh until like all the way to the end of the night.
So do you wrap the actual meat in plastic wrap?
Yes.
Oh, I've never seen them use plastic. I've always seen them use butcher paper.
It's something I had never seen either before, but he talks about the seal that it creates and the moisture retention, and it makes a difference in how his ribs
And it
taste.
don't melt?
No.
Weird.
Now you have to be careful on the bones. If you're wrapping it and you wrap around the bones and they're too hot, they'll melt the plastic, and so you'll have to rewrap. But it doesn't actually all it does is it overheats it and causes it to break and peel back. It's not like it's sticking to anything.
Right.
So you just got to wrap another piece around it.
Well, I mean, I've never seen it done in plastic wrap, but wrapping makes a huge difference. Like
Makes
foil,
a huge
I don't think
difference.
foil does a good enough job because there's too much air getting to it.
Well, and foil will ultimately still kind of cook it because you're going to have a lot of reflective heat. Whereas if you use butcher paper, you get, it doesn't get as much air to it. It's not as much of a permeable surface, but it is enough that it doesn't reflect heat back in. So it allows just enough heat to pass out of it while also still retaining moisture and all of those things.
But
and
it
then
does
plastic,
matter.
plastic wrap is wild. Like I had never heard of doing that. And he
I would have been
actually
afraid to
hasn't
melt it.
always, well, he
That's
hasn't always done it. And that was his big reason for not doing it. But he did an event with another barbecue place around here. And that guy had shown him the process of how he does it. And it makes a difference, and it keeps them insanely well kept.
I've only used
delicious.
butcher paper like a handful of times, but like the times that I've done it, I didn't wet the paper to seal. Like when you're kind of making that double layer,
Gotcha.
you want to wet the paper to where it sticks to it, and then it makes that seal. And I didn't do that, so like the first time I did it, it didn't do anything for me. Like it all leaked out anyway. So
gotcha.
But I mean, now that I know that you're supposed to wet the paper as you go, like whether it be with the grease from the meat or like the fat from the meat, the rendered fat, or if you wanted to use
seal.
Or you just can spray it with a spray bottle.
No, it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I prep all the meats, I get everything ready, chicken, turkey, sausage, wings on Wednesdays, stuff like that. So pull the briskets, all that stuff. And so basically by the time they show up at like 9:45, 10 to kind of finish getting everything prepped out and ready, I've gotten most of the meats prepped and most of the work is done so that when they open the doors at 11, they're ready to go.
I would love to be like, I think if I was to ever get into food again, like as a profession, it would definitely be like that type of thing, like smoking meats or prepping. Like I would hate to deal with the customers.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. One of the things I'm excited about with the food truck is I'm targeting a work window of 7 to 2. And so as I've been doing this, I get there at 7:30. So like for me in the mornings, being up early isn't a problem. Like I'm up at 5:30, so I get to, I've already been up for 2 hours by the time I get to Pops. But with the food truck, I'll be getting up and starting work on the food truck and then being able to wrap up by the time the day's starting to get hot. And so for me, I'm excited about the fact that I get my work done in the earlier part of the day. And in the hottest part of the day, I'm actually going to be done. I'm going to be off, finding ways to cool off. And then in the evening time, I can turn around and do some catering if I need to, or in the weekends, we'll have events and stuff like that. But I'm pretty excited about the way the time window set, the way I want to do my time window, how it's going to be so much earlier.
In a world filled with imitations, there's one name that stands out above all the rest. Rage Beef Jerky, a small batch jerky company that sets the standard for what it means to be 100% grade A quality beef.
Rage Beef Jerky is the self-proclaimed world's best beef jerky. But just because it's self-proclaimed doesn't mean it's not true.
Rage Beef Jerky is made right here in the USA and can be found in 5 states across 400 plus locations ranging from Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas.
But if you're not near those states, all you've got to do is visit www.ragebeefjerky.com and you could choose from any of the 6 flavors that they got of jerky or beef sticks. They got both now. They're really good. The flavors are original, teriyaki, hot, cracked pepper, sweet, and spicy, or you can go with my all-time favorite, which is bacon jalapeno. Chef's kiss.
Rage Beef Jerky has given our listeners the opportunity to save 15% off their order. At checkout, use promo code CHUBBY, that's CHUBBY, and save 15% off your order. Don't let your taste buds suffer through any more mystery meat products. Visit www.ragebeefjerky.com and let your taste buds rage.
Get your jerky on.
So are you actually learning more stuff as you go? Like, did he teach you everything?
So much so. Yeah. And I would say I'm learning a lot of little things just about systems and processes that I'm going to have to be aware of. And I'm like working through them in my head. Obviously, I know I'm not going to be able to figure it out perfectly, but processing it is really the most important part. And that's kind of what I'm getting a chance to do as I'm doing this work, is processing my own strategies with the food truck.
Well, I mean, I think you're at the best part of, like, since you're going to be doing a food truck, I think you're learning little things as you go. So, like, I'm assuming you're going to have like smoked meats at some point on the truck.
Yeah, I've talked about that, and Heather and I have talked about that. I think there's a really easy way you could do that, especially if you don't go super high end with what you're trying to do. It's just about knowing how to prep the meat, which I know how to do that now. So really, it's just going to be about, probably what I'll do is I'll probably do briskets. That would be the easiest way to do
brisket.
Because you
and
can
nothing beats a day old brisket. I'm telling you, like, day old
chopped brisket. You can do burnt ends. There's a lot of things you can do with brisket. So there's not a ton of waste. No, you're good. There's not a ton of waste with brisket because there's a lot you can do with it. I'll tell you what I'm super pumped about, and man, this is the fat kid coming out in me. Kelly makes tallow. He renders tallow, renders the fat out of the meat. And so every week, well, not every week, every couple of weeks, we're able to prep like 8 or 10 jars of this tallow. I got to take one home last week. It's so good,
Tallow is
beef fat.
Yeah.
Beef fat,
like, tallow
rendered
itself
down.
is so, I use it to season the griddle. Like,
yes, sir.
Before and after, I'll put a little bit of bacon tallow, actually.
Yes,
so
sir.
Pork tallow. But like my favorite, like, I haven't tried it yet. Now, my favorite thing about the tallow is the flavor that it gives you, like, whatever it is that you're cooking,
yes,
whether
sir.
it be before or after.
I fried some potatoes in it. Oh, dude. I've never had my potatoes taste so much like my meat. Like, it adds a layer of depth
Vegetables
to it. That's so good.
Like any greens, like, especially the greens you don't like, you'll end up liking those greens.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because it gives them a meat flavor. It takes away the plant flavor and gives it a meat flavor.
Like green beans, I deal with green beans. Like I don't mind them. But when you add bacon flavoring or beef flavoring to them, it sets another standard. It's almost like eating roasted corn at the fair. I'm just saying. But corn, another one. Corn is so good on the grill.
For sure, y'all. If you've never tried adding tallow while you're cooking your food, give it a shot. It's amazing.
I want to know if, so there's a restaurant it's a Texas chain. It's called Terry Black's. They have them in Dallas and then one in Austin. I've always wanted to try it. They have it's a dish, and I know that I brought it up to you before, but like they make their own homemade bread. It's like a ciabatta bread. I'm assuming it's ciabatta because that's what it looks like. But they serve it with a side of bone marrow from like whatever cow they're cooking, and you're dipping it in that, and you're eating. It's like it looks amazing, and everybody that I've heard talk about it,
eat straight marrow.
But that's you're eating a weird thing. But you're eating rendered. You're eating rendered fat anyways, and marrow is just rendered bone.
Right, I'm
fat.
not judging. Yeah, I'm not judging that. I'm just saying, like, I don't eat the tallow alone. Like I cook something in it.
Now,
so the concept of dipping my bread
and they season it up and stuff like that
would be a little weird to me.
Everybody loves it that I've seen the reviews on. Like it just looks good.
Well, I guess it's not that weird when you think about it. You dip bread in oil. You dip bread in butter. So why wouldn't you? Okay, yeah, I guess it's
tallow is like a healthier
I just hadn't
oil.
Really considered that.
Or bone marrow would be a healthier alternative to butter, probably.
Define healthy.
No preservatives.
Versus what?
Marrow versus
oil?
Butter.
Oh, butter.
Butter
doesn't. What butter are you getting that has
shelf life? Has dairy in it. That's going to be
hang on. Butter, yes, but that doesn't. You said preservatives.
Right, I'm saying like there's going to be zero preservatives in it, but
I don't think there's any preservatives in butter, dude.
You don't think so?
It's a fresh product. No, because it's a fresh product. It goes bad real quick for that very reason.
Butter? I didn't think butter really went bad at all.
Well, no, I guess it doesn't go bad. Hang on. Now you got me. Now I gotta freaking pull. No,
I guess
you're dumb, dude. You're dumb.
Outdated butter would just be melted, wouldn't it?
No, it is cream and salt. That's all it is.
Salt is a preservative.
Salt is a natural part of our body. You are not including
but it's still a preservative.
That's not some sort of chemical preservative. It's a natural part, and you're not going to tell me that salt is not healthy. You're an idiot.
In consumption, yes, it's unhealthy.
No, you're an idiot. You're not going to tell me that marrow is healthier because it doesn't have salt. And I call bull crap.
I didn't say it didn't have salt. I'm just saying it didn't have any preservatives.
It's a preservative, Bobby.
If you add salt to it, yeah, it's gonna have salt
dude.
in it.
Stop. You backed yourself into a corner and you won't acknowledge it.
I asked you, wouldn't it be more healthier?
No, it wouldn't. And
okay, but did I say it's more? Did I say it's more healthier?
Did, and that was
no, I said wouldn't it? I said wouldn't it be more healthier?
Boy,
and then you said
all of y'all watching,
no, I don't think so.
Feel free to back this up 5 minutes and listen to what Bobby said. He said marrow would be a healthier option than butter.
To butter.
It wouldn't. They're the same. They're both fats.
Is marrow fat?
It's not healthy.
Is marrow fat?
Yes, marrow is a fat in your bones.
All I'm saying is that it looked good, and I assumed that it would be healthier than eating butter. Why did they make margarine?
Assumed.
Why did they make margarine?
Everything.
But why would they make margarine? That's a healthier alternative to butter, I thought.
No, it's farthest thing from it. Margarine's not healthier. It's worse. In the 50s, they tried to create like crappy alternatives.
That's an oil-based butter, isn't it?
It's not healthier.
I didn't say that it was healthier. I'm asking you, isn't that supposed to be? I'm asking you, isn't it supposed to be?
The answer is no.
So it wasn't made to be a healthier alternative.
That's not what it's made. In the 1950s, yes. And what was their understanding of medicine and health back then? Crap.
But why is it made now?
You have to grow with everything.
Why is it made now?
Because there's a whole freaking group of generation of people that like the taste and still buy it. It's not a health conscious thing. I agree. But there's a whole generation of people that grew up on it and they still buy it. But in 50
that's the only
years,
reason why it's on the shelf?
Yes, because in 50 years, I guarantee you margarine will not still be something we use.
How long?
50 years. Once that generation is dead and gone, butter will be the consistent thing. The only reason margarine even exists is as a cost-effective option, not a
margarine.
Effective. Yes.
Margarine's more expensive than butter, isn't it?
Oh crap. A freaking jar of Country Crock is so much cheaper than a stick of butter.
I thought it was always more. It's like $6 for that big old tub.
Do you even shop at the grocery store, or does Jamie shop?
I shop. Well, I mean, we both shop, but like Country Crock is not like cheap by any means. Nothing's cheap.
I didn't say it was, but I guarantee you margarine is cheaper than butter. And it is supposed to be that way because it's supposed
margarine though. That's the thing. So I don't look at the price.
So then why the heck are we talking about it? And why are you from left field?
All I did was ask if that was what it was made for.
To be healthier? No.
That's all I. That's not why it was made. So that's the answer. It's not. It wasn't made to be healthier.
No, it was in the 50s.
Okay, and that's all my comment was, is that it was made to be healthier.
Is it healthier?
I don't know. I don't eat it,
Bobby. You're not listening, and you need to understand how food works in this country.
I do. All I'm asking is that my statement was that it was made to be healthier. That's all I said.
In the 50s, it was made to.
Okay, and then I left it at that, and then you kept going. That's where that went.
Because your logic isn't. That's not what you're saying with this. That's never been what you've been saying. From the top, you were saying that marrow was better than butter. Then you were saying, well, isn't margarine healthier than butter? You keep just being argumentative for some dumb reason.
I'm not arguing at all.
The point across the board is marrow, margarine, or marrow and butter would be the same because they're fats. They're natural fats. Margarine is an oil-based production, so it would be less healthy based on what ingredients are inside of it.
Okay. And all I did was make a statement. That's all I'm trying to get at. I wasn't trying to say, yes, it is all healthier. I said it would be a healthier alternative is what I assumed, because there would be stuff in butter that would make it unhealthy, like the consumption of salt. Marrow wouldn't have salt in it unless you add it to it.
That's not true either.
You don't think?
Yes, because you're not going to find a single animal that doesn't have enough salt in its body that their marrow would not also have salt.
Okay. It was just a statement. I wasn't trying to argue.
You make such ridiculous statements all the time, Bobby.
Okay.
They're not based in logic or fact, and I have to call you on it.
Well, my logic is that it would be healthier because you're not making anything. It's coming directly from a source. Same
with butter.
Butter is combining two things.
What are you combining?
Cream and salt, you just said.
Okay, and marrow is pulling. Okay, what you're telling me is the difference between pulling something and butter, which is milk that's just separated. Cream, that's the top part of milk when it's separated.
Okay.
And we add salt to it, and you've got butter.
Right. That's what that was my only logic behind it, is that you're not making it. It's already made. It's right there. That was my logic.
So drinking blood then is healthier?
No, I didn't. But that's not an argument for drinking blood. Is that it would be unsafe to drink it? I'm just saying that if it's it would be a safer alternative because you're not adding two things together. That was my only logic.
But that's not logical, because things aren't safer just because you don't add something to them.
Right, but assuming it, like me assuming something, like if I'm not adding anything to it, I would assume that it would be more healthier than if you did add something to it.
No.
So if you eat plain celery rather than adding peanut butter to it, which one's healthier?
Okay, hang on. That's okay, but that's a flawed logic, because it assumes that every base does not improve with an addition of something. There are things out there that actually become healthier when you add something to them.
Right, and that's usually rare, and that's the only reason why I made that statement right there. It's rare to make something healthier. But it's just as illogical.
it's just as illogical to assume that like something is less healthy because it includes multiple ingredients. Like that's flawed logic.
Okay.
Healthiness
My assumption was wrong.
Healthiness isn't based on the number of ingredients that are in something, but the quality of those ingredients.
Right, but the more stuff you add to it, the chances of it like shelf life, adding stuff to shelf life?
No, Bobby, it's not about how much more you add to it. It's the quality of ingredients.
I'm not saying how much.
If you
the quality of ingredients. If you have
4 good ingredients and add 1 high fructose corn syrup, you've made this thing way more unhealthy than something that has 8 ingredients that are all natural.
Right, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
the quality of the ingredients, not how much you're putting in.
Most of the time when stuff is added to it, it's usually to add shelf life to it. Would you agree or disagree?
No.
A preservative.
I would disagree.
At a store?
Yes, in America, it's not just about shelf life. We're about visuals and smells and sight, like everything.
But to be sold in a big name store, you have to have shelf life.
No. Produce, fresh section that doesn't have shelf life, that has to be held. There's so many. We are a visual nation. We do. You want to know what's most commonly added to stuff? Colors. Because we like our stuff bright and bold and colorful.
I just assumed butter would be more unhealthy because of the amount of salt that's in it.
That's I know you assumed, and I'm trying to remind you that when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
Well, there was no argument.
We look dumb.
Not really. Not if we're teaching somebody something.
We ain't teaching nobody anything. They're just listening to us bicker back and forth for 20 minutes about food and fat.
That's fine. Other than cooking, what else have you been up to? How many times have you shown your house this week? Oh, I was going to ask you about showing your house. Does it feel weird to like talk to you through? Does it feel weird to talk to like? Because I'm assuming you're not talking to the people that are looking at the house directly. You're talking to an agent,
we don't.
Right?
Yeah, we just talk to our agent. I mean, it's slow. I don't like that part. We have to like wait 2 hours after the showing to even find out what they thought about it and stuff like that. But
now, do they have their own agent also? I'm assuming, or do they just are they using
so
yours?
far? I think they've all used their own agent. So yeah.
I never understood that. Like the whole agent thing, it just seems like it's just more red tape.
It's not red tape. It's more personal connection. It's supposed to provide a personal touch in that, like, buying a house is hard to do. And you shouldn't do it solo because you should have somebody that knows what they're looking for and knows what's valuable, what's useful. So what you do is you agree that 3% of, and usually most people, at least in a lot of areas that I know of, the seller is the one who ends up paying this stuff. So like you make an offer on the house, but say, so like if somebody made an offer on our house today, they would make an offer of, if they offered what we were asking, be $279, and we would then be paying 6% of that to the agents, 3% to ours and 3% to theirs. And so for them, they're really only paying what they want to pay for the house. They
don't pay their agent?
Well, it's all negotiable. All of this stuff is negotiable.
I never had an agent, so
yeah. So you can bypass a lot of these things and cut your price off by working seller to buyer and avoiding agents. What you lose is the market access and the choices, and somebody who is looking specifically for what you're looking for, but who has the skill set and the resources to look more effectively than you can.
Gotcha. Well, I also heard that it has something to do with people that put a bid on, like they put so much down to keep their bid in.
That's a factor.
And like if they back out, then you guys get a percentage of that.
Earnest money is what that's called.
But it's like, it just seems like a waste of like some of the, not like a waste of your time, but like a waste of time in between that whole middle time.
I could see how it
like
would feel
they should
like
develop
a
portal of some sort where they could directly ask you questions. Like, you know what I mean? Like a direct message thing, whether not having like direct contact with you, but like being able to ask you questions or like have something there to be like, oh, this is why we did this to the house, instead of you going through your like agent or whatever, because sometimes those agents are like, man, I don't want to deal with them right now, so I'll just call them in the morning.
Well, it's tough to be an agent, man. Like I don't know if I could handle that 24/7 contact at all times. Like I would have to have business hours. I feel like I'd have to have a window where I could say to people, hey, like I can't be contacted in this time frame. So,
but like also the loss of information. So like if they asked you a question and the at some point some of that information got lost in between, like whether they told them the whole story or like whether they knew whatever, like they're directly asking you a question.
In that.
Just with the question part of it. Now with the legalities and the money part of it, keep your agent. Like I think the direct contact about questions and stuff should be asked through a portal. So like if they're like buying through this, then they can ask you questions through like say Zillow or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. I could see that as valuable. A way to communicate between buyer and or seller and potential buyer.
It would speed a lot of things up and also have a less risk of losing or not getting the right information.
Yeah,
in my opinion, of course. But I also never have dealt with that.
I agree with that. But yeah, man, that's kind of where we're at. We're just showing the house. We've been I preached this Sunday, so it was a really good experience. It was kind of my last one there at the church. So
I didn't get to watch it live. I totally lost. I shared it, but I totally forgot all about it.
Oh, thanks.
I'm going to be honest. Is it still on the internet?
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
I need to go in and probably share it today, and let people watch it if they want to watch it. It was good. It was a good time. So it was humbling and very heart-filling.
And they had like a goodbye service for you guys. Didn't
Said goodbye to us. It was beautiful, man. They the end of the service, Kent specifically honored the whole family and talked about individual ways he's seen each of us grow, and that was a really powerful moment. It was cool. So
why'd they wait to like this Sunday? Why didn't they do it like January or March or whatever?
Well, the idea was always it was supposed to be around the time that we would be leaving. Last month when we got the offer, Kent had called within a couple of days of that, and so I'd shared with him that we'd gotten the offer, and so he went ahead and announced it to the whole church. Well, and his wife had also told him, hey, I don't think we should do that, and he wasn't tuned in. So he went ahead and did it while our buyers backed out. So this was supposed to be they knew we were going to be leaving soon because they knew we were closing on the house July 3rd. So they were like,
it was Kent's fault.
This could be, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And he owns it 100%. Like he was like, hey, that's on me. I shouldn't have said it. But so this was kind of targeted as, hey, we know they're like actually leaving now and we won't get much of a chance to say goodbye. Just kind of one last final, hey, we love you. We're sending you off. Goodbye kind of thing.
That's cool.
So we'll still get a chance to drop in and see them in service and stuff, but we won't expect any sort of like big goodbye now because this was our goodbye. I mean, it's just a little weird because we're still here.
Well, I mean, you guys were going to be there for a little bit anyways until all this stuff got finalized.
But it was also, I mean, if we were closing on the house, we had a lot of things we were going to be doing and a lot of traveling we were going to be doing. So we knew we wouldn't be in service and stuff like that. So once we do close on this house, we know it will go pretty quick.
Well, I haven't done much of anything. We did record we recorded, and after this gets released, we released the pilot episode of Bumping Chops with HCW.
Yeah, let's go.
That went pretty good. I mean, Jordan and Daniel both crashed the party in the middle, and I thought my wife had developed OCD because the door kept opening to the room and closing. So I thought my wife had developed like that OCD where you had to touch a doorknob 20 times. And I was like, what is she doing? And then it was obviously Jordan and Daniel, but Jordan was in town. He didn't text me again. So I made
Why is he doing this to you?
Don't ask me. I was like, oh, nice of you to text me. He's like, oh, well, I didn't even know I was going to be here. And I was like, but you still didn't text me. Like, that's the point. You didn't text me. He said that he drove 3 hours to get here. I was like, oh, so in that 3 hours, you couldn't have said, like, sent me a voice message or called me or whatever it was and said, hey, I'm going to be in town. Like, he goes, yeah, I guess I could have.
Yeah, I guess I could have.
Really?
My gosh.
What a terrible.
Are you guys still friends? Are you sure?
I don't know. I mean, he sat right here in my living room, and I didn't kick him out for cussing or nothing.
Oh man, well, maybe that's why you're not friends. You got to push the boundaries a little bit more. He
said,
doesn't respect you
"Oh yeah,
anymore.
I was here to see Daniel." I was like, "Oh, did you forget that I lived here?"
Ouch.
I was like, "Did you forget that I lived here?" And then he was staying at an Airbnb around the corner from my house. I was like, "You know, I have a bed upstairs."
Staying at an Airbnb.
He stayed at an Airbnb.
Why?
So the reason why Jordan is not here is because he's a terrible
weird.
friend.
Dude, that's so weird.
Hey, you know what?
That's
I was
so
like, whatever.
Weird. Jordan, you went to Hutch and stayed at an Airbnb. I know. Jordan, that's weird, bro. That's weird.
So, like, I guess that could be the reason as to why Jordan didn't show up today. Is that like he is like sulking in how he's a terrible friend?
Oh, dang. I know, right? Like, maybe. Hang on. You hang on. I'm a defend Jordan just a little bit. Not for the not calling or not texting or anything. That's some crap. The Airbnb. That kid is a little preferential. You can't deny that. And if he is dead set on having some peace and quiet and some like alone time and privacy,
I think
an
Daniel
Airbnb actually makes sense. What?
Yeah.
Daniel because mom and dad
went to Salina. They went to Salina for a birthday party, and then they came back. So there was no peace and quiet for Jordan.
What
so your
world?
argument helps him nothing.
I got nothing.
He's sulking because he's a terrible friend. I'm trying to think
why in the world he'd rent an Airbnb.
I don't know. So like, here's our question for you. Like, hey, like me and you have our arguments, but like we don't carry them on. Red flag?
Is this a
we
red
don't
flag?
Carry them on. Like, yeah, we have stupid arguments. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but, you just heard one.
Hey, but nothing's going to change with me. I'll still have like 100 more of those, I'm sure.
Oh gosh, yeah, I know you're bullheaded, but we love you.
It's just the way that I think. It's not that here's my argument. Like, when I have a thought like about that, right? My thought with that was that like I'm not adding anything to something. So like how am I making it any more unhealthier than having butter? Which the only reason that I would argue that is that you would have to think that it still has to be more salt in butter than there is in beef marrow.
Probably, but it's still it's negligible, and you're misunderstanding what constitutes as healthy.
Maybe on most things, yes, but I also don't eat healthy, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chubby Buddy podcast, where we spend hours talking about eating healthy, even though we don't do it.
Speaking of like the whole health thing, like I had a scare. I fell down the stairs, dude.
Ooh.
Like,
hang on. Like the fall down the front steps that I had that one time.
So you know how you were walking down the steps and your feet went out? Okay, yeah. I had these weird socks on that were almost like dress socks a little bit. Like they were like those. I think they were Rocco's Modern Life type socks is what they were.
Yeah.
And I was walking down the steps and my feet went out from underneath me. And like, I don't know if you remember the story of me when I was walking up the steps, like I tripped over something and caught myself on this corner piece on the stairwell on my elbow. Do you remember me telling you that? This was like the Super Bowl Sunday is when I did that. Okay. So this time I was going down the stairs, feet went out from under me, and I caught myself on both of my elbows and went down the steps. I was in so much pain when I tell you I was dry heaving, like because I thought I shattered my elbow. I thought it was like this piece right here was like all the way out here. And I was dry heaving and I couldn't catch my breath because I knocked the air out of myself. I didn't bleed or nothing. It was just my elbow, and I thought that it had broken. No, I couldn't breathe.
I would have cried. I didn't cry so bad.
Like I was like, oh, and I was literally sitting there like trying to puke. Yeah, it was bad.
I shouldn't be laughing, but
it was 100% hilarious.
Visual of this.
It's 100% hilarious.
Just holding your elbow, going.
No, I was on my knees in my dining room, like holding my stomach, like, ugh. And I didn't feel my elbow until after I caught my breath and got up. And I was like, oh, because I couldn't straighten it out. I was like, oh no. So immediately I went to like
shattered. It's broken.
I shattered it. I was like, how am I going to work now? Like that was my first thought. We're good now.
Oh,
I iced
poor
it.
Bobby.
We're good. But that was my
scary
event.
moment. Scary. That's intense, man.
That's what I get. That's what I get worried about. Is like if I get hurt or if I get sick to where I can't work or make money to survive. Like that would be that's my biggest fear. I think in life is like that I can't provide.
I feel you. You know, it's funny you bring that up because like we're getting close to 4th of July, and that's one of the things that freaks me out about 4th of July. And I've always been so cautious with fireworks. I love fireworks. I love shooting off fireworks, but I'm always terrified. Like I have a very healthy fear of fireworks.
I think it's because we see all the stupid like firework accidents.
Exactly, man. I'm thinking like Jason Pierre-Paul, the dude. Yeah, absolutely. Back it up, Terry. Put it in reverse.
Ooh, speaking of which, in honor of Back It Up Terry Day, aka 4th of July.
Let's go, baby.
Hold the hand, Chico.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. 2 cars come. You got 2 cars come 2 different ways.
For those of you that have not seen Back It Up Terry, this video never gets old. Would you agree?
Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord. Lord, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus. What you doing, Terry? Terry, what you doing?
Oh, man. That is the fear that you're referring to.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I can watch that 100 times.
Oh my gosh, same, dude. I still crack up, dying laughing at that. It's so good.
Anytime man. I hear like somebody blowing their hand off, like Jason, is
dude, JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul. That's first one I think of every time. And
like
then
all the memes that came out after that happened, like the whole like. I forgot what it was. It was like it had something to do with like the glove that he wore. Like it was like a third. You remember that? Like the memes,
spot,
like
yeah.
It was
they called it the spot glove. Yeah.
It like, or if I read about it in the newspaper or see it on like TikTok or the news of some sort, I immediately go to those are the people, the backup Terrys of the world.
I also had a guy I went to college with who had an eye that was mostly seared shut because he got hit in the face with a Roman candle. In a Roman candle war. His name was Cody. He was a solid kid, great dude. He's a dad now, just phenomenal guy. But over the years, he's had to have surgery to try to slowly open up that eyelid. He can see out of it, but it's a very small pinhole sight. And so, like over the years,
he's make had a joke, that. But I don't think it's proper.
I mean, Cody's made a lot of jokes. No. Oh man, that's funny.
Like we used to have fights with Roman candles, and now I look back at it, and it was so dumb.
And let me tell you, after meeting Cody, I immediately thought to myself, "I'm an idiot." And I'm so glad God protected me in all of that because that easily could have been one of us.
I don't even buy fireworks to blow up anymore. I just go watch. Like I don't even want to touch them anymore. Like there's no, I don't get the enthusiasm anymore.
We buy them, but not in the big bulk amounts. We get like, we'll spend $30 or something and just buy a.
Shit, $30 will only get you a sparkler these days.
Yeah, you can actually get a decent amount of small things for $30 and just enjoy a little personal shooting some things off, and then we. Give a little bit of money to our friend Scott, who puts on what I would say is the best personal show in all of like the Table Rock area. It's so good.
It's better than the Kimberling City Bridge one.
So Heather and I believe that it is better. It's not as he doesn't use as much as they do.
It's not production versus we're blowing a bunch of shit up.
Exactly. His is consistent, and his finale is really good and dramatic, and he keeps you entertained all the way through. Whereas Kimberling City is, you know, it's big, dramatic. You have your big finale.
It's for the view.
But a lot of people are done with it pretty quickly. Like, it's over very quickly, and a lot of people are like, really? That was it?
Do you remember Hutch's?
Scott's runs usually more about like 10, 15 minutes. Slower, but more methodical. Lots of good visual stuff like that. You're seeing shots here, and then his finale is usually a big dramatic one.
Do you remember how good Hutch used to have a fireworks show?
Hutch's was phenomenal, dude. I didn't realize how good we had it with Showalters, man.
Dude, I remember it very vividly just because I think Jordan and I, like, we worked Hutch Fest one year, which was the worst job of my life. And
so glad I didn't do that.
But, like, I remember as a kid, they used to make a big thing about it. You would go to the grandstands, they would have a talent show, they would have live music, they would have, like, food, drinks, and all this stuff. But then when it got dark, like, they would have almost like an Olympic race. They would light the torch and they would run a lap around the track. I don't know if you remember this, but they would run a lap around the track just like the Olympics would to light the fireworks. That's so cute,
Bobby. I never got into the stadium, dude. We were poor. We parked in the yard. Parked in the fields.
Well, if you had the Hutch Fest button for the main, you used to have the Hutch Fest button.
No, I didn't.
You used to get in for free for the Main Street stuff. You didn't do that?
Not always.
But when you did do it, did you have a button?
Probably, I don't know.
Yeah, that's how you got.
We used to park in the field, man. That was the best view,
right? And but like we did that too. But like I remember as a kid, we went a few times in the stands because it's just like you get to partake in like the talent show is all. That's the only difference. But like everything about that, like they would run the laps like around the racetrack. You know what the racetrack looks like. And then they would run into that little back door on that back part of the thing, and then light the torch to light the fireworks. Like it was like a big old horde, and it would last like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good show.
They don't do that at all.
No.
Anymore.
No. And the other thing too, Showalters was such a cool setup out there north of town where you could go and launch them off the barrels and stuff, because that in itself was a fireworks show. Because you're watching not just your own, but the 40, 50 other families around you that are launching their stuff.
I didn't get a lot of fireworks show out of it. I got a lot of vibes like I was in the Civil War. Because like
there's a lot of smoke for sure,
and you're like across. There's another line across from you,
right?
Like 100 yards away.
There's a decent amount of dodging you have to do when somebody messes up a firework.
I get a lot of like Revolutionary War vibes, or like Civil War vibes.
Right, you're right. There is a bit of a Civil War vibe when it comes to Showalters.
Like it wasn't trench warfare or nothing. You're standing on ground level, like blowing shit up, like fire, like like that's why we didn't have bottle rockets for the longest time. Kansas bottle rockets were illegal.
Yep.
Like everything that I remember as a kid going out to Showalters out there on like it was like way out there off Monroe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or where was it at?
Yeah, Monroe. Right, Monroe or Madison?
156th of Monroe.
Yeah, Monroe. Yeah, way out there. Yep.
Yeah, I remember going out there, but I was like, and then like I think I was in 5th grade, like around the same time when we started to learn like the Civil War shit, like the stuff that went on. It's like, dude, this is some shady shit.
This is what it was like. They were just standing in fields with all this.
Dude,
smoke.
My history book, it looks exactly like this. We're just not wearing specific colors. Like there ain't no flag. Like there's American flags, and that's about it.
That's great.
There's a lot more like bottled beverages out here than there is in that book, but that's the vibe I got. But
absolutely.
But there's like,
are you doing anything fun this 4th of July? Like what? Well,
4th of July, that's my only day at the prison that I'm like I actually have to do overtime.
Oh, okay,
unless there's like something else that happens. We hand snow cones out to the to the offenders. I refuse to call them residents. So I'm sorry. I don't care.
Is residents what they want you to say?
No, they gave us 2 options: residents or offenders, and I'm going with offenders.
Yeah. Offenders is what I would go with too.
Do they pay to live there? No, so they're not a resident. So get the hell out of here with that shit.
I would say offender too. I think it clarifies and makes it clear.
Yeah,
a resident. A resident is somebody who pays to be somewhere and
they want to be there.
Services.
Obviously, they're paying for my service, and they don't pay me for shit.
No.
But anyway, outside of that, But other than that, like there are a few things that I missed about. Like if 4th of July landed on like a Saturday or Sunday, then I would not have to work that. I would just work a different day.
Gotcha.
Like it's only when me and my coworker are there together we make snow cones all day for anybody that comes out to yard. So like that's why it's such a long day. But if it landed on like a Sunday or a Monday, my day off, or like one of his days off, then we wouldn't do it like that. We would do it a different day of the week. But I have staples of things that like you eat, you drink on 4th of July.
Oh, absolutely.
I think hot dogs. I can't do hot dogs.
What?
That's probably your
yes,
I don't like hot dogs.
Absolutely hot dogs.
Better cheddars, yeah, I'll eat that.
And then I would even say brats. I'd say brats too, but brats, hot dogs,
hamburgers,
burgers
beer,
are a staple.
like
steaks, beer,
a good cider beer.
I think you've got to have watermelon. On 4th of July.
I don't mind watermelon. Like that's not my first fruit that I go to, even on 4th of July.
Neither, but it's a classic 4th of July treat. So I feel like you have to have it on the 4th of July.
It's good. So, I mean, a fresh cut watermelon is
lemonade.
Good.
Lemonade, I think, goes on that.
Lemonade's
list.
Not bad.
Lemonade's good. 4th of July, I love some sweet tea. If you're not gonna have lemonade, have some sweet tea.
Snacks. I'm trying to think of any other snack. Like you always have chips and stuff, but like there's never like it's too hot to have candy outside because that shit melts.
No, it's not a candy time. What's ice cream? I mean, getting ice cream is
that's part of the 4th of July so thing. Like you have like ice cream socials and stuff like on Main Street or whatever. But like
what else is tied to that 4th of July? Though
my wife makes this really good cold, like it's a cold cake, like it's refrigerated. It's called pig poke cake with mandarin oranges in it. It's really good.
Interesting.
And she's made that past couple years. It's really good. But like, I don't know if you remember drinking sherbet, like that. It's like a sherbet sorbet,
Sprite and sherbet combined. Yes, sir.
Dude, that is one of my favorite. That's the only time I go to like retirement parties.
I don't know why I call that the party drink. Because it's for birthday parties and retirement parties. It's just the party drink.
Like you don't want to have it at a funeral because that just shows too much uppity vibes. Like, like that's not a funeral drink. Funeral drink is like tea.
Such a good standard to set.
Like anything outside
of a
funeral,
but not like a somber party.
Like
it's like it constantly. Well, hang on. What if you didn't use rainbow sherbet? What if you went with singular color? Would that mute it down enough
I don't
that
know,
it could
because
be
I've been to
funeral worthy?
No, because like I've been to retirement parties where they just use green sherbet or orange sherbet.
So it's the zestiness of the drink that makes it.
You drink tea at funerals. You drink tea and water at funerals.
I mean, you could say it puts.
Unless you're a party guy like me, like have a sorbet.
I want party drink at my funeral because I want to put the fun in funeral.
That's fine. The fun in funeral. The fun in funeral.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, you gotta play some ushers. Yeah. But outside of 4th of July, dude, I ran into Dunkin', right? Like we've all shopped at Dillon's here in Hutch or Kroger. Yep. If you live in the United States, you've heard of Kroger, okay?
I don't,
dude. I've got a bone to pick with them.
Yeah.
Like, well, if they've never shopped at Dillon's,
I would say Kroger. I would say Kroger is nationally known. I would agree with that.
At least
Dillon's
in the Midwest. At least in the Midwest. I don't know if it's.
Well, no, I would say Kroger. You expand far enough out that the coast would know what Kroger is.
I didn't even know that it was. Yeah, I didn't know. I always assumed that like Dillon's was just Dillon's and Hutch. Dillon's is, but Kroger is who owns Dillon's.
Yes, Dillon's.
And then you have
Dillon's is a local company, but Kroger is a much more larger national brand that bought out Dillon's for sure.
Right.
Or they merged or something like that. I can't remember exactly what they did.
But I got a bone to pick with them, and I tried to pick it with Duncan, but it wasn't his fault. Right? I lost my shit.
You can't blame Duncan, but go ahead. No. What happened? What
happened? Well, like, I went into 4th Street Dillon's because that's the closest one. I normally travel to 30th Street just because of the quality of stuff that they have there. 30th
is so nice. I love that thing.
You can get anything you want there. Like if you can't find it at the other places, Dillon's on 30th has it. They are the Walmart of Dillon's here. Okay. Now, I think that they play head games, like with the whole, like, Dillon's is known for that whole 10 for 10 crap or buy more, save more crap bullshit. But the one thing that pisses me off about this Dillon's, well, all Dillon's in general and Hutch, They moved the entire store around, flipped it completely. You can't walk in there and find bread anymore. Like, do you remember the layout of Dillon's whenever you'd go shopping?
I remember what it was when I was a kid, but they changed it up. Like,
no, they haven't changed it until this time on 4th Street. 4th Street has been the same up until like a month ago.
Wait, hang on. You mean like the bread's not down at the bakery side anymore?
No.
Why?
Nope. That's my point. Why would you change shit that's been going on for 37 years almost?
But more importantly, why is your bread not near your bakery?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Guess where it's at? Right when you walk in the door of the first aisle.
What? Where the soda was?
Yes, where the soda was.
Stupid.
Soda
Where's
is
the
where
soda?
the bakery is. Where the bakery is.
You know what that is?
Mind games.
No, it's not mind games. That's
job security. That's exactly what Duncan said.
Oh my gosh, job security. It's marketing analysis. Does that mean that people are literally buying more soda than they are bread? There's no way.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Let me explain the logic. Grocery stores put milk at the back of the store for a reason. Because
not this
they want you to put,
Not this Dillon's, like right when you walk into this Dillon's on 4th, it's right there to the left in produce on 4th.
It's not, well, okay, right. Dillon's has always had its milk over there to the left. Most grocery stores put their milk furthest away so that you have to walk through the store to get the essentials.
Yeah.
Yes. So by that logic, then, the stuff that they're putting furthest away from the door should be stuff that they consider high value that people are walking to. So if they're putting their soda all the way down there, that's like weird.
Yeah, if that is their mindset.
Strategy. Yeah, they may be doing a different strategy.
Because back then it was the plastic goods back there.
They do a lot of crap with their with organizing their stuff, and it is weird to me that Dillon's has changed it, because you're right, Dillon's doesn't change it. Walmart, however, it feels like every 5 years they're completely changing how they set up their store.
Except for their grocery stays pretty consistent. Like
yes
than
and
that,
no.
At least here,
they change where, like they've changed all the aisles and what's where in ours. They just did an expansion probably a year ago where they've now moved sodas and dog food and like cleaning supplies all to the north part of the store, and to the west part of the store, like where the groceries are, they expanded that out and created like a section for drinks, a section for alcohol, and stuff like that. Like it's weird.
and that's probably also like space, taking up more space. Now with Hutch, like they've had the exact same layout for the grocery side for a long time. Like even I would say probably when they turned it into a super Walmart.
I still know where soda was.
Very back of the store at Walmart, and so is milk and all that other stuff. But like, I also think that also has to sort of do with the space that they take up. But
but no, definitely, you're not wrong in that they play a lot of mind games and stuff like that, and they evaluate strategy and marketing in ways that nobody else does.
It's 100% psychology based.
Yeah, it's very much so.
And the whole self-checkout shit, get that out of here. Like, I want none of that. If I have to check my shit out, I should get a discount. And I'm not jumping on the train there. You should get a discount, especially if you're going to be altered at the door and stopped. Hey, let me check your receipt. No, get out of here.
I do hate the receipt checking and how much more intense they get about it with self-checkout now. And it's like,
I've walked out and I said,
annoying.
No, since I checked my stuff out and you only have one register, I'm walking out. Like, I bought my stuff. If you want to, you can call the cops and chase me.
You're such a crotchety old man.
Yeah. Get out of here with that shit. The whole self-checkout shit is a vibe right now, because they want to save money, because now minimum wage is $15 an hour.
I personally like the idea of being able to bag my own stuff and do it at my pace.
You can still bag your own. Dillon's lets me bag my own shit, but I still go to the person at the register.
Yeah,
I bag my own shit.
I don't want to have to sit with the old lady who takes forever to scan when I can do it at 3 times her speed.
If you're shopping and you're like, you shouldn't be in a hurry anyways. If you're actually shopping for the week, if you're if you're running in there to go grab something, that's one thing. Self-checkout's where it's at. But like, if you're actually going shopping, no.
I make my list, and I got Heather Walmart Plus last year for Christmas, so we just order, man. That's the way to do it.
That's what Jamie does, but this is what I hate about that when they pick, like, she gets everything, like from produce to other stuff. Can't stand it. I want to pick out my own produce. I pick out my own produce, my own meats, my
all
own
my shoppers have always picked good produce. I've
Not
never
here.
gotten bad produce.
Not here. They got us some molded strawberries the last time.
Ew.
No, get out of here.
Not okay. Not okay.
If I want something like that, I'm going in to get it. I'm not going to sit there and wait for her to put an order in online. But, like, it does have convenience to it because you don't have to go inside at all.
Yeah, that's
that's 100% a COVID thing. That didn't happen until COVID happened.
Walmart Plus has been nice because with ours, we get free delivery. So basically, I can pay a $10 tip and somebody will go order everything, shop for it, bring it to our doorstep, and all we got to do is bring it inside.
I actually like shopping.
I blame Christine for this. Her and that stupid Instacart. Oh my gosh, Christine loves Instacart and uses it like crazy. And so we were there with her one time. She was using it and talking it out. And when Walmart Plus offers the drop off, I was like, this kind of fit. The first time it did it, I was like, man, okay, I see why Christine likes this so much. It's kind of nice to have somebody drop it off.
Sam's is pretty dope because you can walk through the store and as you're putting stuff in your cart, you can scan it. And as you go
Walmart
to leave,
Plus too, Bo.
Right, but like Walmart itself, I avoid Walmart at all costs. I go to Dillon's. Like I can't stand Walmart. If I need underwear, I'll go to Walmart or socks.
Yeah, I don't really have the option. We got King Food Saver here. That one's nice, but outside Dillon's of that, we really don't have a ton of options.
I go to Dillon's mainly for the fuel points. Like that's the number reason why I use it. But also like Sam's, like as you're like scanning your stuff and then you go to this one little part in the store. I don't know if you've been to Sam's in a while. You check out and then you show your receipt, show your phone that you paid and you walk out. That's it. But Sam's has always been the one that checked their receipts.
No, Costco does it too. Like it's very common at the big box stores.
Yeah, and that should be because like that's like big things, big items. But if I've got grapes on my list and you're going to check for that, you better get a register. Just saying.
I cannot wait to see the news report when you're the guy.
When I'm the guy?
Yep.
What do you mean?
Just embarrassing himself on TV. I told you I didn't want my receipt check. You get out of my face. I'm going home.
I won't be on the news. I won't be there long enough to be on the news. I'll be gone. The Walmart greeter, they don't. The person that's checking the receipt is not going to beat me in a foot race. I'm just saying.
They would. You're talking about right now. I'm talking about 40 years from now when you're 80 years old and you don't move as fast as you think you do, but you're still running your mouth like you always do.
Yeah.
And you're that embarrassing old dude. And I can't wait for that video feed. That's going to be hilarious.
Fine. I'll be the one to share it. I'll be the one to share it.
Now, look, I told y'all. I wasn't putting up with this nonsense.
I told you better get more people checking shit out, especially during Christmas. You don't put 2 people in an aisle to check stuff during Christmas, the most busiest time of the year, and not expect to lose some shit. I'm just saying, like, that's not my fault that you've got terrible people in the world that want to steal a mixtape or blank discs or whatever back in the 90s. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't buy enough shit at Walmart.
Clearly. You haven't bought anything since 1997, apparently.
Nah, mixtapes were around when we were in high school. Shut your mouth. We aren't that old.
Bull. Mixed CDs were, but mixtapes were not, sir.
Mixtape? Oh, tape, yeah.
Mixtapes died now, tapes with are actually, the 90s.
Dude,
they're coming back. I've heard. They're coming back.
That's crazy.
That's weird.
I'm waiting for VHS to come back.
I
don't know if
VHS, I guess, kind of makes sense because it is film.
People still have it.
It is film versus
audio.
Versus digital.
Oh, yeah.
That's the complaint. People's complaint about digital is that it's this like digitized, perfected version that doesn't have people that love. It's the same mindset that people take with vinyl. Vinyl has a unique sound and a unique feel to it.
I think
probably
it sounds
take
worse.
The same. I would say it sounds more
recorded,
natural,
like raw,
more natural. Yes, raw, and that's what people are looking for. They want
concert
that raw
vibes. Go to
sound.
a concert. Go to a concert then.
That's what they want. But not everybody gets to go to a concert.
Did you see they're trying to pass a law about like concert stuff? Like they're supposed to lower the prices of like concert stuff?
You talking about? Well, it's not about lowering the price of tickets. It's about reducing all of the BS that companies like that get away with.
Oh, like upcharging and stuff?
Yes,
okay.
The upcharging.
And that should be taken care of really quick.
The
taxation on the seat.
Yes, the insane flip value on tickets. They're controlling that market so that it can't be so scalper
friendly.
Yeah. So
why don't we talk about HCW real quick and then we can get into sports? There's not really not much to talk about sports because not much is going on in the NFL. But
it's true. There isn't much going on. River City, June 29th, y'all. Osage Rec Center in Wichita. Gonna be a big show, man. Loved all the promos for it. The Miami Vice theme is such a good look. Or not Miami Vice.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. What was that called though? It was Vice City.
Vice City. Yeah.
Yeah, Vice City. The Vice City theme is so cool. So, but love it. Yeah. So doors open at 5, bell rings at 6. Tickets $12, and kids 12 and under get in free. That pricing model is so stinking good, man. I love it. Helps make it a family event. Helps bring the whole family out. You're gonna get a great show. And man, what's the big match? I know there's a big match.
The most latest match that just got announced was for the Heartland Championship between Drake Gallows and Aaron the Prodigy Helms.
Yes, how crazy is that?
I think it'll be a good match. Like Drake Gallows, like match. As much as like he, I think as much as everybody knows that he's a heel, they want to see, I think, 2 heels battle it out for that championship.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Both of those guys are big powerhouses in the Midwest. They've been wrestling for a long time in the Midwest, and they have a reputation. So this isn't just, Prodigy's not going up against a nobody. Drake Gallows has a reputation. He has been dominant in the Midwest for a while. So seeing those two clash at it for a title is exciting. You're right. There's no good guys in this story. They're both heels. They're both guys that you want to.
And I don't think the crowd's going to be mad at if Aaron loses that title.
No,
they're going to be happy either way.
Yeah, I think this is one of those situations that you're just excited to see 2 bad guys, 2 arrogant jerks go at it and beat each other.
It'll be like our argument that we had about beef tallow or beef marrow, but probably with a lot more logistics behind it.
I can tell you this much. It's fun to watch people just duke it out and just settle their beef. And that's what's going to happen. Drake Gallows, Aaron Prodigy Helms will settle that beef and work through it. So, man, don't miss that show. It's going to be a blast. And if, God forbid, for some reason you can't make it to that show, know that you can always catch the storyline and catch everything they're doing on their socials. They're on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. And then, of course, the best way to get the story, the best way to stay tuned in on everything is to, of course, go to the events, but also to subscribe to their Patreon. That's $5, HCW Live. You cannot miss. It's absolutely worth the deal. It's absolutely
and also check out their new podcast, Bumping Chops. With
we got a brand new podcast. They are on
Spotify as of right now. It's right here on the Chubby Buddy Studio YouTube channel.
So tell us a little bit about this pilot episode, Bobby.
The pilot episode, we really just introduce everybody to the actual show, Bumping Chops, and we kind of break it down about what type of segments that we're going to have.
And so for those that are listening that might be interested, give them that little rundown.
Well, for the main part of it, we're going to start every episode off, obviously, with almost like a warm-up. You and I both have kind of went through like a little bit of training of wrestling. So the first segment is going to be running ropes. So like we're going to run some ropes. And we're going to break down like things that had either happened in wrestling, outside of wrestling, or with me and BJ's lives. We're just going to catch up with each other, kind of like how you and I do on this show. We're going to catch up.
I like it.
And then we're going to get into the Heartland Heartbeat. So the Heartland Heartbeat is going to cover everything Heartland Championship Wrestling. So that could be either interviewing one of the wrestlers from that organization or that promotion to breaking down shows, like either announcing matches or breaking down.
So very local touch. Yeah, I like that.
Very local touch.
Staying local. That's the Heartland Heartbeat. I like that. Cool. And then we're gonna get into pretty much just bumping chops, which is where we just sit there and just shoot the shit. And inside of that, I think we're gonna have little segments. So like BJ has this, and I kind of wanted to add, like I really didn't want to take
too much control over what he wants, but he really
Sure.
liked what I did with it. So my goal is to add as much of him as possible into the show. So like BJ for the longest time had been posting on Facebook called Do the Drives. So like, that's
yes, I love his Do the Drives.
And that's going to be sort of like homage to people that he traveled with or wrestlers that he's worked with.
Cool.
And so that way he can try to get those guys onto them, and they can talk about like the road to, I guess, really becoming a professional wrestler.
I love that, dude. What it takes to build, like how to build your legacy, how to build your career, your image, all of it. That's really cool. I like that.
As much as
Drives.
As much as I didn't want to take, like, I didn't want to try to create something that was for me. I wanted it to be 100% him. That I think kind of reminisced with him well, and I think it's going to play into him well. So
cool, man. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So wrestling talk show podcast, very local, very very wrestling oriented.
And we will talk about other wrestling. So
okay, so wrestling at large.
Yeah, and so like we talked a little bit about
Hendry and whatnot.
Yeah. Dude, like ever since you made that post on TikTok, like I've seen nothing but this Joe Hendry stuff.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
But like we give them a teaser on like what we conversate about. Like we have a little conversation about the 6'6", like what happened with in WWE, like
Bray Wyatt's
Monday?
Crew,
the 6'6". So yeah. And that we gave him a little teaser with that.
What a cool way to honor Bray Wyatt. Like I will admit, I've never been a fan of the darker stuff. I wasn't a Bray Wyatt fan. I didn't get any of that. But knowing the story of it and knowing how this is a tribute to him and his legacy, it's really cool to watch. Even if I don't appreciate like the art of it, I appreciate the emotion of it and the story of it. It's really cool.
BJ said he's like one of the, like that whole, like, I guess his whole family or whatever was like the best storytellers, and like what they did, like when I told him that when I was watching this, I got a lot of the Stranger vibes with like Liv Tyler, that movie that came out with her in it, like where these people were outside of her house tormenting them. Like that's the vibe I got from this. Like it was very edgy for sure.
Children of the Cornish kind of.
Yeah, I knew nothing about the 6'6". I knew who Bray Wyatt was, and I knew who the Fiend was, but I didn't know anything about like the family of the 6'6" or anything like that. So, and we sort of break down a little bit about his thoughts on it, and that's really just the whole bumping chop section is just anything could happen. So, like we could either talk about pro wrestling, we could talk about do the drives, and that'll be like the hashtag called Do the Drives. So
that's exciting, man. Well. There you go, guys. That's a great new podcast to check out. Bumping Chops. It is live. Go find it. Chubby Buddy Studio.
On YouTube, and then they have their own Spotify.
Cool.
The other ones will be uploaded after I get those accounts set up. We had to record and put it on there before we could even get the other accounts started. So
gotcha.
But I'm glad we got the Spotify up, so you can watch the video on Spotify and on YouTube.
Ooh,
and then at some point you'll be able to listen to it.
Spotify allows videos now.
Yeah, all of ours since episode like 60 something has been on video on Spotify. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah. Other than that,
so that's HCW, baby.
That's HCW.
Bumping Chops.
Bumping Chops.
That's gonna be fun. I'm excited for you guys.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. What else in the sports world? Anything else stand out to you?
Well, upon release of this episode, it will be 70 days until the NFL kickoff.
Oh my! 2 months, 10 days.
Yeah,
let's go.
It's right there. Like
I'm ready. We're on the cusp.
I'm excited
of the season.
I'm excited. Like there's not much going on in the sports just because like nothing's going on yet. Like transactions are happening with like the people who got drafted, like the Falcons.
It's all minor storyline stuff.
Yeah.
It's all basic
nothing really to talk
details about. And depth chart stuff and injury notifications. This is a boring season of the off season.
So far, yes.
We just kind of bear through. So kind of lean into baseball right now. That's the trick.
And right now, as much as I hate the Pirates, I can't deny Paul Skeens.
I hate the Pirates, and I hate Paul Skeens, and I don't want him to be as good as he is.
Dude,
it's frustrating.
It's crazy to watch. It's crazy to. Oh, and also rest in peace, Willie Mays Hayes.
Hey, absolutely, man.
Oh, it's not Willie Mays Hayes. It's just Willie Mays.
Say Willie Mays Hayes.
Willie Mays. I think it's because I just watched Major League.
Not League of Major League.
Major League.
Willie Mays, the great baseball legend, passed away. And what
he was older than I thought he was.
92 or something like that, right? Yeah.
Old as shit.
Legend, though, man. One of the best. He just flat out great.
Set a standard for like sports in general. Like it wasn't just baseball.
Playmaker.
I think that, like,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like truly
showing up.
Yeah. The playmaking skills, like that's part of yeah. So
granted, it's before our time. We didn't get to see him play live, but we definitely saw like what he was made of.
When you see highlights, when you see, when you look at stats, you recognize like you don't have to. That's the beautiful thing about baseball is it's such a stat-driven game that you can see how good a player was without ever actually watching them have played.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But outside of that, like, I
think of Willie Mays, I think of Ozzie Smith. I think of the Cardinals.
Ozzie Smith he just had like a temper on him that Willie Mays didn't. Like that was the difference between the two.
Ozzie could make some plays though, but like when I think of Ozzie's play, I think like that has to be inspired by how Willie Mays was as a player.
Yeah, with a little bit of like Lawrence Taylor vibes. Like he got in players' face. He got in players' faces. He was like he wasn't there to mess around. Like I think he had like a lot of people don't realize. Yeah, he was a great player, but like a lot of people don't realize about how much stuff that happened with him on the field. Like just like people sliding into him on purpose or something like that, and he would lose his shit. Like watching those highlights or like don't like.
Competitive,
like baseball players can't fight. Like that's not why they're playing sports. Like, have you ever seen a baseball player throw a punch? It's terrible.
Most of the time, baseball players are hilarious when they try to fight. It's like if baseball's like the opposite of hockey in that regard. You know what I mean?
Right. Like they look like they could fight. They look like they could fight.
You get similar occurrences of this of fight. But baseball looks so hilarious when they try to fight. And hockey, they're on skates. So it's a little funny, but it's still awesome because these dudes know how to fight.
Right. And imagine if they weren't on skates.
I know, but it's like baseball is like dudes that should be able to fight that clearly cannot. And hockey is like dudes that shouldn't be able to fight, but somehow can still manage it. And that's awesome.
Most of the baseball players look like they can like tussle a little bit. Like,
and then like I love it when a batter charges the mound or something like that, and you can tell they're about to square off, and then he like does the head.
Bryce Harper's the best.
Yeah,
Bryce Harper. They always go over the top.
What is that? Like, what do you do? That's not throwing a punch. What are you, a child? Good Lord.
Bryce Harper. Like, if you took the Titanic song and put that to every MLB fight, like I think it would mash up well. Don't you think? Only like every miss is like Jack falling off the door or the piece of wood.
I'll never let go.
Yeah. Oh man. But no, but like I don't even know where the Cubs are. I think Cubs are in second to last still. I mean, they were last time I looked.
I'll look. I'll see what our rankings are. I haven't checked in a couple of days.
But the reason I brought up Paul Skeens is that like a lot, like that's what I enjoy about baseball are the people that I don't even know the word for it. Like the people you least expect.
The highlight
like
players.
The Pirates came out of nowhere with this player, and like I think he's 10-1 now or 11-1 as a starter.
You guys are in second to last. You guys are 37-41. We are in second. So we're 5 games behind. You're 8 games behind. So it's still not. I mean, the Reds are in last place right now, and they're still.
And they were in second for a long time too.
They're 8.5 games behind. It's still a competitive thing. Milwaukee's still doing what they're doing.
They're just. They're definitely
excited. St. Louis is starting to. I don't want to say that. I want them to
don't do what your preacher did.
Nope. Just be consistent.
Don't do what Ken
consistent. Did. Stay consistent, Cardinals. That's all I ask.
But like I would say that the Cubs really should start worrying probably in mid-July, into July. Like that's if you're still in dead to last.
As we get into July, now is where it starts becoming relevant and important to start getting your rhythm locked in. Because otherwise you're going to be desperately scrambling for a place.
And that's why I think the Pirates kind of surprised me a little bit, is because when they pulled him out, he graduated college last year, and he's just striking out batters left and right.
I know. The problem is he's in our division, which means we play him several times, which means, and like, they're on our heels.
Yeah.
They're 2.5 games behind us. They're rallying, and it's annoying because.
But how much would you like him if he was on the Cardinals?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
But
like,
that's not the point. And,
he's fun to watch.
Admit, like, yes, he's fun to watch. Ellie De La Cruz, he's another one that's so fun to watch. I'm not going to go down this list. There's too many. There's way too many players that are fun to watch.
Baseball for me, like, I think it's gotten more exciting just because, like, you don't see the contract side of things like you do with the NFL. Like, yeah, you hear about the money, but like you don't see players sitting out as much waiting for a contract to happen. Like, they're either getting paid or they're not.
It's a much more developed system when you think about it, because you've got the minors, you've got the way the trades work. I mean, like, it's MLB's trade system is
very complex.
Way more complex than the NFL.
So, like, their contract can change without us ever knowing about it.
Yes. And the way that it shifts doesn't matter because it doesn't affect a
salary cap.
A salary cap like it does in the NFL. So
I mean, they have a spending limit, but like it's nothing like the NFL.
Based on the organization, and it's not
really the NFL.
It's not tied to any sort of algorithm.
Right. And so, like, another thing about baseball is, like, we've both agreed that it's one of the hardest to be the best at. Like,
absolutely.
And to see, and that's really why.
I would say it's one of the easier sports to pick up, but it's very hard to become great at it.
And that's why I think Paul Skeens stands out, because we didn't hear about this guy. Well, unless you watch college baseball, then you heard about this guy.
I don't watch college baseball.
And that's my point. Like, you didn't know anything about him.
ESPN highlights of him.
I saw him I think I saw him during, it was either the World, like when I think they were talking about him during the College World Series.
There were some ESPN highlights of him, but I did not know Paul Skeens' name until he became a Pirate. I can tell you that much.
And we didn't know the Pirates were even capable of being in third place until Paul Skeens. Like, that's...
I don't know, man. The Pirates are... Our division's such a weird one, man, because...
It's competitive. Like, it's like...
I can't... Is there really a team that doesn't... for years, it would have been y'all. For years, it would have been the Cubs. I would have said the Cubs are the team that's always going to be at the bottom.
I would say the Pirates, probably.
Well, and the Pirates, too, at times. But, like,
and then the Reds for a long time.
But tell me this, right now, is there a single team in the NL Central that you believe is not competitive?
No, I think the whole division is one of the most competitive in all of MLB.
It's wild.
There's so much change in that division over all the other ones. Now, of course, I don't pay as much attention to them also, but like the people who are dominating in baseball aren't like, we don't see that in all of the divisions like we do in this one. So like you've got the Yankees, they pretty much dominate their division every year. Same with now the Braves. Like the Braves are just the Braves. Like it's crazy.
But are the Braves still winning?
No, I'm saying usually. Usually.
Right.
Now,
they
I don't
have some injuries that are holding them back.
Now, the Dodgers, on the other hand...
no, the Braves are still doing fine. They're 43 and 32. They're just behind the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies are doing dominant. The Dodgers are dominant. The Yankees are dominant. Like, the Brewers are the number one team in our division past 3 years, I think.
Yeah. Phillies
up until, like, when the Cardinals had their playoff run... Yeah, Phillies, the Yankees, and
the Yankees are
Phillies
both
have the
best.
most wins right now. I
no,
believe
Yankees
still, right?
have 52.
Oh wow! For a while, it was
Phillies have 51.
Okay, so that's changed. Like, but like you still see a lot of those teams that are on the top and they stay on the top for several years.
Yeah,
but like this one, it's mixed.
It is weird because I would say the NL Central does feel like the one that's got the most upturn. Feels like there's constant competition for top seed. It's good baseball.
It's anybody's like division up until late July.
Yep. Well, even then, man, the Cardinals pulled off that huge win streak to come back and get competitive a couple of years ago. Like, that's just the thing. Like, you can't count a team out in the Central for sure.
Plus, they also don't put themselves in such a big hole to where they can't get out of it. Like, that's also
rarely are you seeing teams like Miami that are 24 games behind.
And the A's, like, they've came out.
I say that, but did you see how they worked us over?
Who?
Miami.
The A's? Huh?
They freaking worked us over.
I didn't see it.
They're 27-50, and I think they won 2 out of 3.
Well, I mean, but did they also beat the other teams in the division? Like,
no,
I doubt they beat the Brewers.
No. But I'm just saying, like, we were on a hot streak, and then Miami came in and cooled us off. It was nuts.
But the Royals, the Royals and the Cubs play in late July. Like, nobody expected the Royals. Like, they were terrible the past 2 years.
Yeah. Nobody expects them to be competitive.
And now they're they're in the talks of signing or moving to a different state, I guess. But a lot of people are worried about that. Like, I don't know. A lot of people don't realize they could still stay in Missouri. Like,
they could,
just because
I think it's gonna split.
I don't think any professional team is coming to Kansas.
I think it's going to split, and I think a professional team's coming to Kansas.
I don't think they'd be smart. I don't think they're dumb enough to do that.
Nope.
The tax breaks here are so stupid.
No, JoCo is going out of their way to try to land Kansas City, try to land the Chiefs.
You really think that? Where do you think they're going to be in Kansas City Chiefs still?
Yeah, I think they'll be Kansas side. I think they'll be the Kansas City Chiefs. They won't change anything.
But nothing's going to change.
But JoCo has offered them a package that I think Clark will take. I really do.
Do you think it'll be a stadium that is better than this one?
It's still going to be Arrowhead. It's still going to be designed like Arrowhead, but it will be covered. Not
for
like
Super Bowl
domed,
purposes.
Not domed, but
it'll be covered.
With a covering so that it could. So basically, what they're going to do is they're going to give Kansas City what Kansas City's wanted, which is the ability to be able to host the Super Bowl.
Right.
By creating a stadium that gives them, and they've also included 60 acres along with it to ensure that the tailgating experience doesn't get lost, because that's a big factor in it. So I'm telling you, in 5 years, we may be seeing the Kansas City, Kansas Chiefs, which, as a Kansas boy, I would laugh my butt off and be so happy about. Because
I mean, I just don't see the.
Tell me you haven't heard it. Well, I have. Living in Missouri, I've heard enough people say they're the Missouri Kansas City Chiefs, not the Kansas City Chiefs.
I've never heard anybody refer. Everybody does say oh, that's a Missouri team, not a Kansas team. So why are you rooting for?
It's a Missouri team. So,
dude,
yeah. So
if you have two sides of one city, then
exactly, it's Kansas City.
What would be
named
crazy
after our state?
Do you know what would be even crazier is if the Hunt family went back to Texas?
I would hate that, dude. I would be devastated by that.
That would be.
I don't know that
financially, that would be a smarter thing because they wouldn't get taxed. That's the only thing smart that they would get from it.
No.
But to move to Kansas would be dumb for the tax. I'm saying for the tax purposes, they'd be screwed.
Not if they're getting a great deal on the taxes. Johnson County can give them tax breaks, and that's
they can give them tax breaks, but not the players. But what player is going to want to come and play in Kansas City and get taxed all that money?
They're gonna have to play there no matter what.
But that's not going to happen for several years. This is going to be probably 5-7 years.
It's 5 years. It's 5 years before the contracts are up.
So Travis Kelce will probably be
Travis will be done.
By
Patrick will be wrapping up. Not wrapping up his career, but in the second part of his career.
Hopefully, not wrapping up at all.
No. Second part of his career, though, for sure.
But what I'm saying is the players that go to your LA teams, they're pissed that they're paying all this money, and look how many times they keep or how long they keep players. They change players faster than anybody. If you look at the LA teams or California teams, I don't know if you've noticed that.
Delaware needs a team.
Wyoming.
No, Delaware has a really nice tax system, from what I understand. That's why most businesses set up in Delaware. I want to see if I'm gonna look that up. Hang on. This is
the
thing.
lowest taxes, probably. I mean, Miami doesn't
lowest
get taxed
corporate
at all.
Taxes. I'm gonna tell you this here in a sec. As soon as I can figure it out.
This is where Nerd alert.
Yeah, I know, right? This is so dumb. Delaware has both a corporate and individual income tax. Why is Delaware known as a tax haven? Primary reason Delaware is advantageous for taxes is because Delaware does not tax royalty income for Delaware holding companies.
My fellow nerds and I will retire to the nerdery with our calculators.
And basically what that means is as long as they are considered they're incorporated in Delaware, there's no sort of tax on the money, like royalty. I don't know exactly how a royalty tax works. Since Delaware does not do the royalty tax, business does not pay any state tax on the royalty income. State tax savings and royalty payments permitted are based on the value of the intangibles. So the more valuable the intangible, the greater the tax benefit.
See, that's why I don't do anything finance. Like, that's all.
So basically, Delaware set it up to where you can go in and create a bunch of tax write-offs that help you offset all of your costs.
For like individual, probably individuals also. So like players and stuff like that.
Individual and corporate. So a lot of businesses have their home office in Delaware for that reason.
So they could do that. Okay.
Yep.
So if you
they get away
live,
with that.
so like say that your home office is in another state, like Delaware, does that matter about where you live?
It doesn't, as long as you're operating out of Delaware. As long as you have business operating out of Delaware, then that can be your home office. But you will, I mean, you still pay taxes to each state that you earn income in, which is why I'm saying a team in Delaware would then have that benefit.
Gotcha. Now, and that's also why a lot of teams stay in Florida. Like Florida has no taxes.
No
like
income,
Texas,
no state income tax. So
I think it's Texas, Florida.
That was actually,
like
I think that was a motivating factor in why Tyreek left the Chiefs for Miami, was because not only was it a good contract, but it was a contract in a state where he wouldn't be paying as much taxes on that income.
Right.
So he gets,
and it makes sense,
even more
especially as
money.
Somebody who actually cares about their finances. Those are the ones that you actually see are the ones that are planning for their future.
Those are the
ones
guys
that are like
survive the NFL.
Yeah, they survive the NFL and they end up doing something after they're done playing.
They invest their money and utilize it well instead of just burning through it trying to live the life.
So I shoot no shots at those people that are like planning for their finances. Like those
people,
and that's why
respect.
I would worry about Kansas City coming to Kansas, because it's gonna that Tyreek would have left even quicker. Probably for a lower contract if he was in Kansas.
There's definitely higher taxes there, but
Kansas
I don't think you're in that it's significant enough that until you get into a contract like Tyreek's, does it matter? I do admit though, those big contracts, yes, that matters.
And then to own a home in those states, like the whole home thing in California, like if you own a home considered to be a mansion, like that's another $1 million tax or something like that. Crazy. What clarifies a mansion? Like that's what I don't get. Like, is it square footage? Is it how much you paid for the house?
The number of bathrooms.
The number of shitters you have in your house is the most you're going to get shit on.
He had 14, and his first year with the Broncos, he scored 15 touchdowns. So he just barely beat his bathrooms.
The bathroom break.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyway, let's get into some entertainment. I have a movie that I'm actually excited about that I think you'll be happy about, and it's Fly Me to the Moon.
No. I'm not talking about this. Stop.
You don't want to watch it?
No.
Why?
Nothing about this is funny, Bobby. You're not cute.
Why?
I have zero desire to watch a movie about them faking the moon landing.
Okay, I'm not saying that like that's not going to be the good thing about it. Like I want to see what they have to say. Like I'm excited for the people who are in it.
It's not funny. It's not a good bit. We didn't fake the moon landing. And it
I didn't say we did.
This movie does. Fly Me to the Moon's all about
but did you watch landing. Did you watch Tom Hanks in the what's that one?
Apollo
the
13?
Dan Brown book? No, the Dan Brown book.
The Da Vinci Code? No.
Yeah.
I thought it was stupid.
You watched it?
I know I did. But only because we watched it as a youth group. That doesn't mean I wanted to watch it.
But it was a good
movie.
movie.
I enjoyed it. No, it wasn't. It was garbage.
Yes, it was. It was a good movie.
Bull it was. It's a bunch of bull crap written as nonsense.
It was entertainment.
It's bull. And it confused a hell of a lot more people than it ever did entertain anybody.
I enjoyed it. I was confused about it.
Please.
It didn't make me start second guessing
The only
anything.
thing people even liked about it was because it pushed some boundaries. It wasn't an entertaining story. Are you kidding me? What about it? Are you really?
Yeah.
What about that story was entertaining?
Well, I like the whole plot twist. How they had like the one guy that he had helping him try to figure out who was the person going out to kill these people.
Yeah,
the
guy dude that's crutches, self-immolating. Yes, that's Paul.
Yeah, the guy in the
Paul
crutches
Bettany.
is like, that's who I never expected him to actually be the guy that was going to be the betrayer of Tom Hanks and the chick.
That it's not that.
I enjoyed it.
Pretty.
I mean, for what it was, I have only seen it like twice. I think. I mean, would I rewatch it again? No. But like,
okay, then it wasn't that entertaining. There's movies that I would rewatch again.
But I didn't mind it, is all I'm saying. Like, it didn't like make it to where I won't ever watch a Tom Hanks movie again.
So what does that have to do with Fly Me to the Moon?
It looks intriguing. It's a comedy-based movie.
No.
You know you're gonna watch it.
I've already seen previews for it, and I will not watch it because I refuse to support something that feeds into the notion that we did not go to the moon.
Is it like, does it scare you more that like you are?
It doesn't scare me. It's foolish and it's silly and it discredits the great work of some brilliant mathematicians.
I'm not denying that we didn't go to the moon. I believe that we did go to the moon, but I will still watch a good comedy movie.
Good. Go ahead. I'm not interested.
So like the movies that they do make fun of the landing being fake, do you just write those
off? What movies?
I'm just saying like a movie that they did.
What movie?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
That's my point.
General.
There ain't no movies.
I'm sure there are. There's more than just one movie.
I ain't watched them.
Shut up.
I haven't. And I'm not interested in them. That premise bugs the crap out of me. Always has.
What movies are you excited for?
You know my passions, though. You know, literally, space and NASA is something I've always been passionate about. So the idea that I would be entertained by a movie that challenges all the concepts of the hard work built into making that possible.
But are they challenging it or making fun of it? Making fun of people who believe that?
Challenging it by saying that.
I'm saying, are they making fun of people who believe it? That's my question.
They're not. They're making light of it and making a joke, saying this is how it really went down. They faked the whole thing because they couldn't actually get to the moon.
So what's the whole like? And I've never heard it or looked it up. Like, what was the whole like Buzz Aldrin thing? The recordings of him saying we didn't go to the moon. Is that true? Did he actually say that? No. Did he actually say that?
No.
Okay, I didn't look at it. I didn't look into it. But like people were saying that he was. Oh, we didn't.
Buzz
go to the
Aldrin
moon.
has never said that we didn't go to the moon.
Or was it Neil that said it?
Neil definitely did not say it.
Well,
I'll look it up because I know what you're talking about.
Is he pretty senile? Neil. Like, Neil's is he going through like or my bad? Was he in a bad mental state at the end of his life?
No. Neil
Maybe it was Buzz.
The difference between Neil and Buzz is an extrovert and an outgoing personality. Neil was an introvert. After Neil accomplished what he accomplished, he didn't want it to be about him. He wasn't about touring and making his name bigger. It was about the accomplishment. It was about the work had been done. Buzz, on the other hand, was an extrovert. He loved the publicity. He loved the attention. So for him, Buzz Aldrin became the name associated. It's why, like, name another set of astronauts that you know the second astronaut. Or better yet, do you know the third astronaut?
I don't know any astronaut except Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong.
So tell me why you know Buzz. Because he was second on the mission.
Why I know Buzz? Probably Apollo 13.
Exactly. But also because he is the most
famous. Who
played
Buzz.
He's the most famous astronaut outside of Neil because of his personality. Because of who he is as a person.
I don't know the names. I know of like who was on the Challenger when it blew up. Like,
sure.
That's about it. Like,
right.
But I also don't have the passion for space and NASA and stuff like you do. Like, I appreciate it. Like, The only reason I would show any interest into it would be I'm giving him 100% credit is Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, that's all I can give. Like, that's the only reason I get intrigued by things is the way that he talks about it. And like, the way you talk about it is like, it's like, this is why, and like nothing else can change it. Neil does it in such a way, like, he makes it to where you think about why you should appreciate it more. It's like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, he goes into much more detail.
And it's I think because he's a scientist and has studied it more than I have.
Right, but that's why, like, I'm not worried about the
specific scientific implications. I'm worried about the more so larger life implications of what science means to us and how it impacts our life.
And that's probably, I've never been intrigued by that type of conversation, and that's why it kind of surprises me now that I'm more willing to sit down and, like, I was actually online looking at tickets to go listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson like 2 days ago. Like,
that's hilarious because you would not understand most of what he would talk about.
But that's the funny thing though. Like, I would, like, the only reason that I would go is just to have something to go look at later. Not necessarily to know what he's talking about, but just to hear him talk is just, it's mesmerizing. It's very calming to listen to him talk. I don't know why, but it's intriguing. Would you go and listen to him?
Oh gosh, are you kidding me? I would love that.
Like, I could sit there. I would go pay to listen to him talk at his what is that called that he talks to you, like, while you're looking at, like, all these different light
planetarium.
Planetarium. Like, that would be a dream come true to me, just because, like, I wouldn't want to nap, but it would make me so calm that I would be like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like it's very euphoric. Is that a good word to use? Like, listening to him talk. He's probably one of the best speakers of our generation.
Relaxing. It's very relaxing
because he doesn't get, I think,
he engages more. He engages your creativity and your wonder, your sense of wonder. That's what he does really well.
Does his son talk like that too?
No. It's his delivery, and again, he's not just a scientist. He's a showman,
right?
And he's good at it. Like, there's a reason people love him, because he's crafted what he does. And his job is to get you enthusiastic about what he's enthusiastic about. And he's good at it. He's very good at it. He knows what he's
give him all the credit for my interest in space or science or whatever. Like, I know that you like space, but, like, you've never given me a reason to, like, say, hey, I want to go look this up, if that makes sense. And no shot at you, but you also didn't talk about it like that. You talked about it like, this is why I like it. And I never learned the way that you learned. You learned math completely different. Like, I guess you interpret math way different than I ever would have.
Sure.
And that's probably another reason why I don't enjoy math, because the way I interpret it is so confusing. It's a foreign language, dude. Like, it is nothing that I have ever understood. Like, yeah, we all know the basics. 2 + 2, all that stuff. But then when you start adding in, like, Mr. What's the dude that I showed you that video of where he was, like, breaking down, like, mathematics? The black dude, Terrence Howard.
Oh.
That gives me so much anxiety.
Kind of crazy, though, bro.
Dude.
You got to look that up. Terrence Howard's a little bit kind of crazy.
Yeah.
His math ain't all there. Like, that's what you need to know.
Just
like,
to think on that level gives me anxiety.
Because it does. Well, it's giving you anxiety because you recognize it's not healthy. He's not mentally healthy.
And he doesn't come across as not being unhealthy. Like,
I don't know that that's true. I think enough people look at him and say, Did
you watch his conversation with Joe Rogan?
Yes, and he seems borderline manic.
I think a lot of people in Hollywood are borderline manic, probably.
I do not disagree with that. You are right. You are 100% right about that.
Like, to be in Hollywood, you have to be crazy.
There's an element that it drives you to it. I can promise you that.
But, like, I know that he called out Neil.
Speaking of crazy things and entertainment, back to movies. We introduced our kids to some movies the other day.
Like ones that we've watched as kids, or?
Yep, sure did. Are you ready? They wanted to watch a good horror movie, something that would startle them.
Blair Witch Project.
Nope.
Worse?
Something that would really get under their skin.
What year? Like what? Okay, what decade?
Early, late 2000s, early 2000s.
Early 2000s?
Yep.
Oh, man. Like, Blair Witch is the first one that usually comes up, like,
Sure.
in that.
But Blair Witch is kind of just grainy hand footage stuff like that. It doesn't quite think more production. Think higher production. Thriller / horror movie.
The Ring?
Nope.
Hmm.
Everyone, like our generation, all of us have seen it, and it shapes the way we live. Let me put it that way.
Shapes the way we live.
It to this day impacts our decision making skills.
Really?
Yep. I promise you. You think of this movie when you get on the road and get behind vehicles.
Oh God, Final Destination.
Yes, sir. We introduced
not
our
just
kids.
that, like, not so much now. Like, I don't think of like tree lumbers like falling in, but like I do think of like the possibilities are endless.
All the ways you could die because of that movie.
Dude. Thinking about that, like, and I don't want to take away from what you introduced your kids to. I rewatched A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Oh gosh, it's so funny.
I love that movie so much, and it's such a national treasure. It's not even funny. Like,
it is a cult classic that should be appreciated way more.
And this is why I didn't realize it. I didn't put them together, but like when I watched that, they tried to do the exact same thing with Unfrosted. Like they did paint. Like making fun of like that generation of America, like going through like the mission to the moon and stuff like that. Like all that stuff, they make fun of all of that. It's just good comedy, but that's why it kind of reminded me of that.
Introduce the kids to Final Destination 1 and 2, so they watched them back to back. Casey said his anxiety level was through the roof, but he loved it. He enjoyed it. But now he's like, he walked into the kitchen after it was over and said, I don't want to go near those knives. And it was funny, dude. It was so funny. And then Heather found a video of somebody driving behind a log truck and the log falling off. And she showed it to Casey. It's like, Mom, you can't do that.
And it doesn't work good in your area because like you guys have those tree log people. Like,
yes, we do.
Kansas, you don't see that stuff.
Oh man, it was funny. But no, the kids, it was intense. It was everything they were looking for in a movie. So it was a lot of fun.
Just those two, though, is what you introduced?
Yeah, just the first two. I mean, we'll show the other ones later. But yeah. And that was the whole point. Like Casey was worked up by it at first, and then once he started realizing, like he processes that it's a movie, and so he can handle that. But then also, like, he was able to start processing that it gives some clues, and he could see a death coming if he paid attention. And then, like, it wasn't as intimidating for him. He's
so,
like, oh, God, it's coming.
Like, you get the same vibe from A Million Ways to Die in the West. So, like, when they get the ice in, like, off the truck,
or when the bull comes, you're like, whoa!
Oh yeah, everybody dies at the fair.
Everybody dies.
But people like the ice falling on that dude's face was like it was fun. That was very Final Destination. He's like, and they're going to use the ice. They had a church service that same day, and they're like, "We want to thank him for dedicating his life to the cold beverages that we're going to enjoy this summer." They're going to still use the ice. That's so messed up. He is such a mastermind in comedy. Like MacFarlane is
Seth MacFarlane absolutely shaped an entire generation of comedy. There's no doubt about it.
I don't appreciate Family Guy as much, but like his mind in Ted, A Million Ways to Die in the West, and other stuff that he's created that a lot of people don't tie him to is amazing.
I have an appreciation for almost everything he's written, including like I love Family Guy. That's one of my favorite shows. American Dad was really fun.
Was he in Futurama was
Futurama is Matt Groening. Yeah, that's the Simpsons guy.
Oh, I thought it was Judd.
No, it's Matt Groening.
Or Judge, my bad.
Mike Judge? No, it's not Mike Judge. That's King of the Hill.
Yeah, he did. I thought he had something to do with Futurama also.
No, that's Matt Groening. That's Simpsons.
So he didn't produce it at all?
I don't think so.
Okay. I just thought he had something to do with it. But yeah.
No, and then he's even done like the Orville, that was a space show supposed to be like a run at Star Wars.
It was like what was
a comedic run at Star Trek and stuff like that.
What was that one that had Tim Allen in it?
Oh,
Galaxy Quest. Like that's what I got from it when I saw like
absolutely.
the previews for it.
Absolutely, it absolutely is supposed to have that vibe. So, but yeah, and then of course, he's got some good movie stuff like that. But his sense of humor, I think, has shaped an entire generation.
Like he could, if he really wanted to, I bet you he could probably be a stand-up comic because of like his talent.
I don't know. I don't think stand-up comedy is where his specialty is. His comedy is.
No,
really
I'm saying if he
about
really wanted to, like I think he could develop a delivery method.
Yeah,
to
I'm
be
sure
one.
he could have a set that would be fine. But I think his delivery, his best delivery, is the way he drags out a joke, the way he extends a joke beyond its funniness.
His cutbacks are perfect.
Yes, the timing of his cutbacks. But then,
I think
if you
that's
ever
why
notice,
I enjoy doing the video
he
edits.
delivers a joke, lets you laugh, lets you stop laughing, and then gets you to an awkward point where you start laughing again. Because it just keeps it going.
And the cutbacks, I think, are like, I think that's his own art. Because not many people.
Cutaways are a brilliant type of comedy that he has mastered.
Did you know they were illegal for a long time back when stand-up comedy was like first coming up, like before they could even cuss, like they had to get a license to do stand-up. Like only certain people could do it. So if other people wanted to do it, they would get fined when they did a cutback. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they had a documentary about the Comedy Store back in the late 70s and all that stuff, back when they had Lenny Bruce and all that stuff coming up. Like, there was only certain comics that could actually use the cutback method of, like, referring to a past. Yeah, it was pretty weird. But you would get arrested on stage if you used, like, the F-bomb.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, like, I appreciate cutbacks, and that's why I like doing the video edits for, like, shorts and stuff like that and using movie scenes and, like, just different people saying stuff. Like, I appreciate Seth MacFarlane's cutback, like delivery and science.
It's good stuff. Well, man, I think that's
episode
it, right?
69.
Yeah. That's everything we got. How did we make it all the way through that episode and not make a joke? Props to us.
Well, we didn't bring it up. I just now noticed because I saved the video as 69.
Well, y'all, we're so grateful that you joined us for this 69th session of spending quality time together.
Yeah. Getting in a little bit of an argument.
Yep. Hey, it's passionate. Our 69th is passionate.
Food is passionate.
Yes. Very passionate about food. We love us some food. So
next week you bring a snack.
If you're still listening, make sure to like it, subscribe, follow us.
Follow our sponsors on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. Go and check out the new Bumping Chops podcast on
here on you're gonna love it.
YouTube.
It's gonna be so good.
And also on Spotify. And then just make sure you follow us. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on what we have.
Tell us about your 4th of July plans. Tell us about what are your summer foods.
Tell us about your Civil War reenactments.
Let us know if you've lost a limb or something to a firework. Ugh.
Yeah, or an eye.
Cody, if you're out there and you're listening,
this episode coming. I love you too. And I love all of you.
Oh, man.
But I love you.
I love you too, man. Have a great day. Bye.
I will. Bye.
I love you. Bye.